Today, we're diving deep into a cosmic entity with some serious power and a truly terrifying purpose. We're talking about an ancient being that's been lurking in the darkness just beneath our reality, a world eater known as Barbatos. You know, it all started with this one single dark whisper, an idea so corrupting it could turn a divine servant of creation, one of the oldest beings in existence, by the way, into a ravenous god of unmaking. It set him on a path to consume, well, everything.
So, that's the real question, isn't it? What if a god actually believed that? This isn't just some monster we're talking about. It's a philosophy with teeth, a god of failure, just waiting for his chance to rise up and prove that every single story is doomed to end in darkness.
Now, here's where things get really interesting. You'd think a cosmic horror story like this would start out in the vastness of space, right? Nope, it starts with one man, Batman. His very spirit was destined to become the key to unlocking a cosmic prison, and it was all thanks to an ancient cult that secretly worshipped him, or, well, the symbol he represented. Meet the Judas tribe, though you probably know them better as the Court of Owls. For centuries, these guys were praying to a so-called bat god, doing all these rituals in the shadows. But they weren't worshiping a hero. Oh no. They were serving the ancient dragon that saw Batman's symbol as some kind of prophecy and claimed it for itself. To really truly get who or what Barbatos is, we have to go back, way back, like before creation itself. And it's all laid out in this simple but honestly terrifying parable, the allegory of the world forge. Okay, so this story basically explains the entire structure of reality, the light of creation, and the dark, deep cellar that's always been right there underneath it all. So picture this, a divine creator, a guy named Alphinius the World Forger, hammering out stable realities just like a sculptor makes a statue. Each one was a potential universe, beautiful and perfect, meant to stand in the light. This workshop? That's our multiverse. But, not every creation comes out perfect. The broken ones, the twisted and nightmarish ones, those universes that were born from fear and failure, they all got tossed down into a dark pit. And this cellar, well, that's the dark multiverse. It's a cosmic dumping ground for everything that just failed to be. And who lived in all that darkness? Barbatos, the great dragon. Now, his original job was absolutely crucial. He was, and I love this description, the faithful garbage disposal of the gods. His whole purpose was to eat these failed worlds, crushing them back into raw materials so the forger could start fresh. He was basically a cosmic recycling plant. But something went terribly wrong. The divine servant, whose job it was to clean up the messes of creation, decided he actually liked the taste of failure. And that is the moment the recycler became a destroyer. And this slide just perfectly shows that shift. On one side, you have the custodian. His job was to devour flawed worlds to fuel new creation. But on the other side, you get the usurper. He stopped recycling. He just let those nightmare worlds rot and fester, hoarding them, stacking them up to build an army of pure darkness with one single goal: climb out of that cellar and eat the light. I mean, this is the whole point, right? This monumental act of betrayal. Barbatos didn't just rebel. He turned on his own creator, Alpheus the World Forger, and killed him. And with the master gone, the forge went cold. And that dragon became the one and only master of a dark, decaying multiverse. So as the new boss, his power is just almost impossible to comprehend. He doesn't just destroy worlds, he digests their entire story, literally erasing them from existence. He gives off this anti-music, which is the combined scream of every failed reality, a sound so powerful it shatters the laws of physics. And, of course, he commands the Dark Knights, twisted, evil versions of Batman from these failed worlds, each one a living reminder of a universe that never should have been. So how does a being like this escape a cosmic prison? He couldn't just walk out, right? The laws of creation had him locked away in the dark. He needed a key, and he decided to make one out of flesh and bone. Yeah, he needed a doorway into our reality, and he saw the perfect material in Batman. He didn't just target him. Batman was gonna be the tool itself. The whole plan was to corrupt and prepare Batman's very soul until it became a living gateway. And this was not a quick plan.
For centuries, the Court of Owls patiently worked this ritual. They used their undead talons like test subjects, experimenting with cosmic metals from the dark multiverse. Over Batman's entire career, they manipulated things behind the scenes to expose him to 4 of these metals. Then came the final step, applying the 5th, Batnamium. This whole process, all the trauma, basically tenderized his soul, turning his body into a literal tuning fork that vibrated at the same frequency as the dark, prying open the door between worlds. And here is the ultimate cosmic irony. The Owls, they thought they were going to rule at his side. But the second Barbatos stepped through that gateway they'd spent centuries building, he just let his army of nightmares eat them. Turns out, a dragon doesn't really have a use for the janitors once the door's already open.
So this brings us to the final and maybe the most terrifying part of this whole story. Barbatos isn't just a physical threat, he's an existential one. He actually represents a fundamental, terrifying truth about the universe. He is the god of entropy, the living embodiment of that scientific principle that says everything, no matter how strong, no matter how well built, eventually just falls apart. He is the void at the end of all things, given a consciousness and a hunger. So what does he really represent? Pure cosmic horror. The fear that not only will you die, but your entire story will be erased. He wants to drag everything into the dark and prove that every heroic sacrifice, every single victory, was ultimately meaningless, because he is the inevitable final chapter. Which leaves us with one last thought to chew on. Every story we tell, every legend we create, it's like a light pushing back against the dark. But Barbatos is the god who believes the darkness is the only real story. He isn't just coming to end the world. He's coming to end the book,